Hi Aries, welcome to your monthly reading for February 2024. As always, thank you to everyone who watches, likes, shares, comments on the videos and subscribes to the channel. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. So these are from the Oracle decks I'm going to be using for today's reading. Yes, this is actually a tarot deck, the Beautiful Creatures tarot deck, but I am going to be using it as an Oracle deck today. You may or may not already know there have been quite a few big transits relating to Aquarius. We are in Aquarius season now, but there's been stuff with Pluto and one of the themes with Aquarius can be innovation. So whether that's doing things in a brand new way, integrating the old and the new, or using something old in a new way. And that's what I feel like I'm doing here. I'm using something in a different way with the Beautiful Creatures Tarot as an Oracle deck. Just to point out, I did do a video for the major transits that happened with Pluto, Aquarius, etc. Between the 20th and the 21st of January. I feel like it's a big deal. Pluto went into Aquarius on the 21st of Jan after being in Capricorn for 15 years. And, you know, as you may know, Pluto is to do with death, rebirth, etc. So it's like we're literally going into a new era. So as I say, if you're interested in that, you might want to watch it. There are collective tarot messages. I've talked a little bit about the astrology, and there are individual messages for each sign. It's for the full moon, but it also gave individual messages for the for Pluto going into Aquarius for each sign as well. I live in an apartment, and for some reason the neighbors' noises are really loud, so sometimes it's a bit creepy. It feels like there's someone in my apartment with me, but anyway, that's another story. So yeah, let's get on with your reading. That video that I just spoke of for the full moon and all the Aquarius Pluto transits, that I'll put a link to that, like the little, I can never remember what you call them, the little cards or whatever you call them at the end of this video if you want to watch that. But let's get on with your reading. So let's firstly get a tarot card, which I'm using as an oracle card from the Beautiful Creatures deck. That'll be like your main theme for February. So what does Aries Sun, Moon or Rising need to know for February 2024, please? Okay. So you have the King of Swords logic, and that is actually Aquarian energy. Let's put that there. Let's get you a Power of Surrender card as well as part of your main theme. So what else does Aries Sun, Moon or Rising need to know for February 2024, please? Your cards are just flowing out really nicely, acrobatically. It's interesting. Right, we have surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. With this card, with the logic card, there may be something here where it's a time to sort of plan. That comes to mind. That would be a reason for non-action and the logic coming up. I don't know why I always get I need to start doing research into colours, because I am quite fascinated by the colours. I mean, I know they're slightly different, but that bluish, greenish, I don't know, it's just fascinating me for some reason. But anyway, let's get your tarot cards out, and then I'll read this one from the book, The King of Swords. I mean, I know what it means. I think a lot of us know what it means if we watch tarot, but as I say, I'm using it as an oracle deck, and each tarot deck gives its own sort of take on the meanings for each card. So let's see what else Aries needs to know. So what is your overall theme for February? You've got the Eight of Swords, but it has flipped itself into reverse, so we'll take that. Let's get your energy specifically. Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising's energy specifically. Anything? You've got the Six of Swords. Let's get any external or surrounding energies. You have Judgment. You got a lot of swords here, first of all, and then you get judgment, which can also be about making decisions and reviewing things as well. So that is quite interesting. Let's get your past energy. Past energy. Anything at all? No. Past energy for Aries, please. Yeah. 5 of Cups. This is the present energy, by the way, 6 of Cups, and potential future energy. The Strength card. And advice for you as well. 3 of Wands, okay. So let's read that logic card first of all. So as I was saying to the previous sign I read for, once you get to the court cards in this book, the layout is a bit weird. So bear with me while I find it. There it is. Nope, lost it. I did have it and I've just lost it. Okay, it's disappeared on me for some strange reason. I did have it right there. It is. All right. King of Swords. I know that you produce your ideas carefully with tact. And the key word, as it says on the card, is logic. It says, up in the heavens, the spirit of a maiden holds a sacred jar of water that contains endless possibilities for the future. When she appears, she showers people with the sacred water from her jar. Many of those who accept the shower of water think outside the box, but those who do not remain in their same mindset. Again, innovation, Aquarius energy, isn't it? So it says, the energy of the King of Swords is futuristic, progressive and consistent. The King, ruled by Uranus, the planet of changes and turning points, is associated with Aquarius, who embodies an archetype that is a logical thinker. Aquarius rules friends and friendships. The archetype message here, it says, the King of Swords represents a person who thinks with logic and does not allow ideas and thoughts to be cluttered. It is difficult to let other people manipulate them. On the contrary, they are the ones who may manipulate. God. When they are being distracted by others, they may find it hard to think ahead and need peace and privacy. On the negative side, they may have tendencies to think stupid things that do not have meaning or reason. That's harsh, isn't it? They may make unnecessary jokes about real issues that pose potential danger to them or others. They may make radical assumptions regarding things that have yet to manifest. And for situations, this card, it means, it says the King of Swords represents a situation that you will have to think about with logic and conviction. Take time from your busy schedule to think of a way that you can deal with personal problems hindering you from doing what you want to do. See, that's the non-action. It's like taking a time out, isn't it? I mean, I know it says let others come to you, but it is also that time out energy too. Right, it says, on the negative side, you will have to make judgment calls and omit things that are not useful or beneficial for you. This may even involve people who are close to you, but think of it as a beneficial thing that may help you. Try to avoid staying stuck in the same place where you are unable to move ahead. Interesting, because we've got the 8 of Swords there. If and when you feel stuck, it is something that you've brought upon yourself. Again, that's rather harsh, that you've automatically assuming that you've brought the stuckness upon yourself. I mean, to a certain degree, a lot of the time when we're stuck, it is partly because of something going on with us, not in a blame sort of way, but you know, you can't deny that. But that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Like saying almost everything that goes on is our fault. But anyway, so yeah, interesting that we've got the 8 of Swords there and the 6 of Swords, because that can be about moving on, can't it? So let's get the tarot cards out and see what we need to know here. Let's start off with the 8 of Swords. I mean, the theme focal point is usually like a desire or a challenge to overcome. So the need to think clearly, possibly, because the logic card is there. As I said, with judgment, it feels like, well, I didn't say it felt like, but it could potentially be about making decisions, isn't it? Let's have a look at that 8 of Swords and see what that's about, please. Right, we have the Knight of Swords, another sword card, and the 5 of Wands. Well, I would say there's something here about clearing out any confusion. So with the Knight of Swords being in reverse, that would be the non-action, because the Knight of Swords, it's like he can't wait to say whatever he's got to say, tell someone, kick someone's ass, share his ideas, whatever. He can't wait to open his gob, basically. But with him in reverse, it's kind of like a nah, hold off, hold off. And then with the Five of Wands there, it's kind of like, as I said, it feels like something about needing to clear out any confusion or conflicts, possibly. Let's see what else comes up. We have the Ace of Swords. That's a need to become very clear on something. And for me, the Emperor can be about needing to come up with a plan. The Ace of Swords can be ideas as well. Let's look at the Emperor on its own. Two of Wands is a decision to be made, isn't it? Let's get one more for that. Do I want these? I'm going to try that again. That didn't quite feel right. It feels like there's a need to sort of take a moment to figure. This is going to be a common theme. I can see already. You're my third reading for the day, and we're getting similar, not exactly the same situations, but a very similar theme of there's a lot of introspective energy around at present, and I'm not, as I've said, I'm not an expert in astrology. I have been learning more. I'm trying to think what house this is in for you, but I'm just going to confuse the shit out of myself if I try to do that. I think it might be 10th house. All the Aquarius stuff is in your 10th house. I'm not certain. And I'm trying to figure out what else is going on in terms of astrology, why there's so much introspective energy around, because Aquarius, I mean, I guess there's that logic side. But obviously, as it said, Aquarius is about friendship. It can be about community as well. There's that whole individualistic part of Aquarius, you know, that thinking for oneself, innovation. I guess the only thing at present in this moment that I can think of why there's so much introspective energy, because the other two readings, there was heavy hermit energy, swords energy and heavy hermit energy, and non-action might as well be the hermit, is the need to think, to plan. I mean, we are still near the beginning of the year, so it's still a time when people spend a lot of time planning things, assessing what happened last year, what they want to change. So maybe that's it. It's just a time where people are carefully planning what they want to achieve for the year. But yeah, as I said, the Emperor for me can be coming up with a plan, and Two of Wands, it's choosing your path, isn't it? But there can also be planning involved in that too. Is there anything else we need to know about this? So you got Temperance and Seven of Wands. I'm getting in my head the path of least resistance. So however that is relevant for you, take it as you will. And I mean, it was mainly from looking at that Seven of Wands card, because I know it can be about standing up for yourself, but there can be an element of resistance. With it in reverse, it's like least resistance. And then Temperance, that is the calm, that is that calm, moderate energy. So, I mean, it can be about not rushing into things and carefully coming up with a plan, but there is also about something about the path of least resistance as well. Let's have a look at that Five of Wands on its own. Five of Swords. Okay, yep, I should have bloody said it before it came out. Three of Cups. I feel like I've said this to you in a previous reading, Aries, but be careful about who you share your plans and thoughts and ideas with. And there's a number of reasons. I mean, obviously, some people get concerned about people stealing their ideas, but there can also be a thing about support and lack of support. And I mean, typically, Aries energy is known to be sort of very determined, and no one can tell Aries what to do, but we all have our moment, regardless of what your sign is. We're all human. We all have our moments when, as strong as we can be, there are certain situations where we're trying to do something and people can put us off, can't they? They can say things that make us feel like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not able, you know. But I would just say be careful. And then sometimes people can purposely sabotage you. Like, for example, I think one place that people can intentionally sabotage people is in the workplace, can't they? People can literally, I mean, I have kind of experienced it, to be honest, but yeah, I've said that story many times before. But in the workplace, people can literally intentionally put in the effort to sabotage other people in the workplace. So I will say be careful with that. And even in families as well, shit can happen in families where people want to play people off each other, and You know, I know it sounds quite dramatic, but yeah, just kind of be careful. I think for the most part, what I would say, if you do have plans, obviously, yeah, it's on us to see things through and get things done, but just be aware of who's around you that wants to see you succeed. And if there is anybody that there's just a feeling, or their actions or something they've said kind of shows that they want to see you fall, because it's not that you can completely avoid the negativity, but whatever you're trying to achieve, it helps if you have the right support, doesn't it? So why kind of purposely put yourself in situations unnecessarily where it's just kind of dragging you down and sapping your energy? That's a weird thing to come up. But yeah, so overall, as your main theme, as I say, you've got an aspect of planning. There's something about becoming clearer, but not rushing in, not jumping to tell everybody whatever it is, and getting very clear on things and coming up with a clear plan, so that you don't feel held back, I would say, with the Eight of Swords. But let's move on. So we'll look onto your energy specifically with that Six of Swords. So Six of Swords for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising. Let's see what that says. I mean, I often see Hermit energy again. I feel like that person here is like Hermit, the Hermit energy. That's how I feel. But I feel like it's our inner Hermit. It's your inner Hermit guiding you on your path, on your journey, and whatever you have in the box is sacred. You've probably heard me say that a million times if you've watched any of the previous readings I've done. So what do we specifically need to know about that Six of Swords for Aries? Ace of Cups. Well, that's probably what's sacred, how you feel. But let's see what else is there. I mean, that's a good thing, because it means that you're allowing your emotions and your sense of fulfillment and whatever fills your cup to guide you. So that's not a bad thing. But it's just executing the plan, isn't it, as well? As much as you can have the feeling for something, sometimes it doesn't take physical form, and it needs to. But let's see. Anything else? Four of Cups. No, I'm going to try that again. That doesn't feel right. So you've got the Fool, you've got the Five of Pentacles. I mean, the Fool for me at the minute just feels like pure freedom. Well, one of the meanings of it is pure freedom. You also have the Sun and the Seven of Cups. These four cards here feel like a risk, like a big risk. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it feels like a risk. You know, like say if you had, like clarifying the Six of Swords, it's almost like, say if you left a job, you left your job because you felt like it was disappointing, it wasn't satisfying, it wasn't honorable, it didn't feel right to you, and you've got your freedom, but it's almost like it's a massive risk. You know, like if somebody suddenly leaves a job. I don't know if you ever saw, there was I don't even know how I came across this. There was a woman, a news reporter, and she left her job live. I believe it was a live news report, and she now has a weed farm, basically. I don't know if the story was something to do with that and legalizing weed in whatever state. And she just kind of, but I think she burnt the bridge in a pretty dramatic way, because I don't know if she was saying F you when she walked out or whatever. But it reminds me of that, like suddenly leaving a job, and it's a really dramatic thing, and it's a massive risk where you don't even know what's going to happen, but you're kind of quite hopeful, where it's just like, well, I'm just following my dream, so you know, you're not too worried about the you're not exactly worried about the consequences. That's a similar energy to what I'm getting here. But let me have a good look. It is giving moving on energies with what's sacred, and what's sacred is, as I say, it could be what you feel, but what you have to give as well could be what's sacred here. And that sense of knowing your worth, with the Ace of Cups and the Four of Cups, of knowing your worth and having that sense of freedom. But you might be a bit stuck now where it's like, right, well, what do I do? Or it could even be that you want to move on and leave a situation. This is a common theme as well. Or change something. But it's like at this point in time, it could very well be a warning not to, if you haven't already taken the leap, it might be like, just hang on a minute. Yep, acknowledge how you feel and what you want to do, but don't quite rush yet. Bring a bit of a logic into the situation before you make a move. But it's a general reading. Apply it as it's relevant to your specific situation. But there's definitely a feeling of wanting to move on and honor what you feel is best for you. Let's look at the Judgment card. That can be about second chances. I know I said something about decisions here, but as an external energy, let's see if the Ace of Pentacles or something comes out here. So what do we have? We have the Page of Cups. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Swords, the Hierophant, see, that's remember I said initially that was like the path of least resistance again. So I think for quite a few people watching, as much as there might be an energy of wanting to take a leap and change something quite dramatically, you might not have done it yet. For some of you, you might not have done it. It might be thinking about it heavily, and that's why these cards are coming in. It's like, just hold off 1 minute, take a pause. So for the Judgment card, it is an opportunity for like rebirth, to do something differently. It can be about making a decision. Yeah, I think it's because that Page of Cups is there and the Ten of Swords in reverse. And even with the Seven of Wands in reverse, looking at it now, and that whole path of least resistance, whatever. It's almost, as I say, it's making me think that maybe there's a strong desire to change things or do things, but it's like a pause. You haven't quite done it yet. Like, even if you are feeling like you know you want to follow your heart's desire or whatever would fulfill you, you haven't quite done it yet. You've got the Ten of Swords there in reverse, so things haven't quite come to an end yet, but there is an opportunity or a desire to change things. That Hierophant, it feels, let me clarify it. I don't know if it's like a sense of responsibility or there's more to learn or something. We've got the Devil, which is where you held back, isn't it? Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Right, okay. So you've got the Two of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. That is an energy of being held back. And there's something about being sensible and responsible here with that energy. And I mean, I suppose that comes with the King of Swords because he is a responsible person as well, for the most part. Because you've got the Seven of Pentacles there. That is a card of careful assessment to me. And then the Two of Swords, it can be a decision, but it's kind of like it's a decision that hasn't been made yet. And then with the Ten of Pentacles, that is more, that's about long-term commitment. It is stability, isn't it? So as I say, maybe there's an opportunity for you wanting to move on. There's an opportunity to change, but there's just something holding you back a little bit. As I say, it might be a case of coming up with a plan. It might be the need to be responsible and choose your commitment. These cards, for all I know, it could all be just the feeling of wanting the change. Just the feeling rather than actually taking the action to do it. But we'll find out as we get further into the reading. As I say, general readings, take it as it applies to your life. The word strategy is coming to mind. I think that came to mind with, was it the last bunch of Capricorn readings or something? Or no, it could have been the new moon in Capricorn. There was a big thing about strategy, and that comes to mind here, that maybe, be speaking of strategy, the King of Wands is on the bottom of the deck, that may be either you're doing that, you're coming up with a strategy, or you need to come up with a strategy before you make these changes that you want to make. So let's look at the Five of Cups. So you've got the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. 10 of Pentacles. I was thinking some kind of disappointment around what you've committed to be honest. I didn't expect that 10 of Pentacles to come out, but I was thinking it with the Knight of Pentacles. Let's see what else comes out. You have the King of Wands, the strategist. What else? Five of Cups. Do I want one more? Yeah, we'll get one more for that. Four of Swords. So the Two of Swords wanted to come after, but I'm not going to take that. I want to let's look at the King of Wands and probably the Five of Cups as well. Actually, the Five of Cups is there twice, isn't it? So there's a big sense of disappointment. Right. King of Wands, first of all, please. Lovers, the Page of Swords. The World and Temperance. Let's look at the Five of Cups out of curiosity. There's definitely disappointment here. There's disappointment here in the past, and it's funny because I'm wondering if you were disappointed but someone else was disappointed as well. Is coming to mind, especially with that Four of Wands there. It's almost like, you know, if you'd gone into some sort of group venture with other people and somehow you ended up disappointed and you ended up disappointing them, like maybe you weren't satisfied or something, and then you left that group and they were disappointed by your leaving because you kind of went off on your own path. It is making me think of more than one person being disappointed, to be honest. You have that commitment, long-term commitment type energy here, whether it is a relationship, work situation, whatever. But you have the King of Wands, which is making me feel like it's almost like where someone wants to be their own boss. Kind of the desire to be your own boss, because the Knight of Pentacles is dutiful, isn't he? He's learning, he's being told what to do, he's the apprentice. The Ten of Pentacles is more of a group family situation, stability with a group. But then the King of Wands, he kind of does his own thing. He goes off and does his own thing. You've got the Lovers there, where that is choosing what you love. Page of Swords, it's kind of exploring, it's being open-minded. The World, again, exploring. Temperance, that would be what you feel is going to make you feel more balanced. But as I say, you've got that Five of Cups after, and the Four of Swords. So was it one of those situations where you made a choice to change something and it didn't quite go as you'd hoped? That's a possibility here. I will leave that there because I don't think I'm going to get anything further from that. But yeah, as I say, it looks like an energy of disappointment in the past where you may have done something, taken action on something that turned out to be disappointing, to be honest. I mean, that would explain why you'd want to be strategic now if you're trying to change things rather than jumping in, even if the feeling is there. Let's have a look at the Six of Cups as the current energy. So you could potentially be reviewing the past at this point in time, and that might be holding you back a little bit from action, or a good reason to hold back from action. So we've got the Ten of Cups, Eight of Wands, Queen of Pentacles. Let's get one more. Temperance again. I feel like Temperance just keeps showing up constantly. Let's have a look at the Eight of Wands. Hanged Man, Ace of Pentacles. Let's have a look at that Ten of Cups. Nope. So 10 of Cups. I think that 10 of Cups is the desire for a greater sense of fulfillment, but it almost feels like the 8 of Wands is where you don't quite know what to do, to be honest. It kind of feels like uncertainty. And I would say with the Queen of Swords, it's kind of like, it can be about learning from past experiences, but it can also be about knowing what to do as well, figuring out what to do. With that 9 of Pentacles and the Hanged Man, it's like to, again, that, I don't know if I've already said, a timeout sort of energy, to take time to think carefully, to have space, to think about how to get the opportunity that you want. It's almost like, you know, like if you were on a sabbatical or something like that from work, to kind of get things straight in your mind about how to pursue what you want. Queen of Pentacles there, that's about your values again. So considering whatever you do, how does it match up with your values? Let's quickly have a look at that. That was quick. The Lovers. The Devil. 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. Yeah, I think that's the values. I mean, one of the values would be, is it your choice? Are you choosing what you love? Is there anything in it that feels like it holds you back, with the Devil and the 8 of Swords as well? And then the 7 of Pentacles, is it worth it? Is it in line with your values? And Temperance, it's just, does it feel balanced? Does it feel harmonious, to be honest? But also, how can you create this as well? Considerations in how you create it. Let's have a look at Temperance on its own, actually. How do you create the harmony that you want? Because you've got the 8 of Pentacles as like chaos there. Again, as I say, of not knowing what to do. It can be feeling overwhelmed sometimes, overwhelmed if there's something that you want to do and you're just like, oh my God, there's so much to figure out and I'm just not sure. And, you know, that can be a feeling of overwhelm and wanting to become clear and have the time and space to think carefully. Let's have a look at Temperance. King of Pentacles, yeah. And I've never thought about this before, but the King of Pentacles does look like quite a harmonious energy, doesn't it? And then you've got the Star. That's lovely. Let's get one more. It's a harmonious energy because it's where you practically... 3 of Wands, I love this. I was going to say where you practically create something, and the 3 of Wands is creating. The Star, the 3 of Wands, that is manifestation energy. It's an energy of creating something. It's bringing your hopes into reality. The King of Pentacles is the reality, isn't it? But as I was saying, harmonious in the sense that he's got everything he needs around him. He doesn't seem greedy in any way, shape or form. He's just worked hard. He's done what he has to do to make his dreams a reality. So it is harmonious, and he's generous as well because he's worked so hard and accumulated so much. He's willing to help others as well. So overall, it seems like a lot of contemplation of the past with that 6 of Cups being there. Again, what will make you happy, what to do. There may be stuff about the past that you're thinking about, how it went in the past and how to move forward now. As I said, your values are in there as well. So kind of just mulling things over. And I would say also not wanting to make the same mistake. A lot of the time when the 6 of Cups comes up nowadays, I keep seeing it as not wanting to make the same mistakes as you did in the past, or learning from the mistakes that were made in the past. Let's have a look at Strength in the future, because that, I mean, it is a courageous energy, isn't it? And you did get, I believe you got a 4 of Swords somewhere, so it might be that whatever's gone on previously, it's almost like needing, as I said, I've said timeout. I'm pretty sure I've said timeout already. You might need a bit of a timeout to kind of replenish yourself. So 8, sorry, not 8, Strength, which is a number 8, but the Strength card. What do we need to know about that? That's funny, isn't it? How I said you may need to replenish your strength, and then you get the 9 of Wands clarifying the Strength card. Bloody hell. Okay. I mean, there can be something about resistance here, and I've said the path of least resistance multiple times, and I'm still not 100% sure how that fits in. So please feel free to share a comment if that makes a lot of sense to you or resonates with you quite a lot. Page of Wands. You have the Two of Cups. So let's have a look at the Two of Cups on its own. I am aware that it kind of came out reversed and then it flipped so many times. I've just taken it up right now. You've got the Two of Wands. The Moon. I'm going to put the Death card back because I don't know if it genuinely came out or if it was just stuck to the Moon when I took the Moon out. So you've got the Moon, the Hermit, and the Three of Wands. This Page of Wands with the Two of Cups, it's giving exploration vibes. How do I explain this? It's like, it's a very open-minded kind of energy, like a work in progress kind of energy. You know, like if you had an idea of what you wanted to do or pursue, a dream that you wanted to pursue, a rough idea, and you know there's many different directions it can take you in. So it's not like a set goal of I want to be a singer, you know, that's one example. It's like, it would be like, I want to do work that is involved in entertainment. So it's like, it's almost like deciding, right, I'm going to try and pursue a path in entertainment, and it could take you absolutely anywhere. You could be a singer, you could be a songwriter, you could be a script writer, you could be an actor, you could be a TV presenter, you could be a comedian. Like, you know that you've got a rough idea, but you're willing to explore and see what you really connect with. With that Two of Cups, it's like the discovery. It's a sense of discovery and choosing. So you're choosing a rough direction. You're discovering what feels good, what doesn't, you know, what makes sense. And then you're continuing to manifest from that point. That's a really weird random thing to come up, but it's there. Let's have a quick look at this Nine of Wands. I mean, it can indicate, I said resistance, but it can indicate struggle as well, where you might be thinking, how hard is it going to be? I mean, you've got strength, so you might need a lot of, you know, like where people say you have to have a thick skin to do certain things because there's going to be a lot that's going to push you to your limits, like hold you back. You're going to have to battle a lot. You know, like with actors where they say they go for how many hundreds of auditions and they get rejected, or people when they write a book and try to submit the book and nobody wants the damn book. And, you know, it's like a tough path to follow, but you need a lot of strength for it. That's the vibe I'm getting. Let's have a quick look at the Nine of Wands. So thick skin, needing a thick skin here, but also, as I say, having a very open mind and being willing to explore a field, a massive field. Look, strength is there again. Yeah, it's needing strength. It's future energy, isn't it? Strength to do this, to pursue this. So the Tower and the Two of Swords, this is an interesting way of the Tower coming up for me as a future energy. It's more like, as I say, with the examples that I just gave, the needing the strength because there's potential for a disappointment, needing to try different methods, paths, etc. It's unstable. But not in a bad, it's a challenge, it's challenging, but it doesn't mean it's all going to completely go to shit. It's just that it's going to be very, very challenging by the looks of it. It just looks really challenging. Whatever path you want to go on now or choose now, it looks like it could be very challenging. And again, with the logic and the non-action coming in, I guess it's almost like, it's making me think now of the Hanged Man energy. And I think, has that come out? I'm sure that came out somewhere at some point, of needing to consider all of the different perspectives. And it's not that you can necessarily have an exact plan that gets you exactly where you want to go, but having like contingency plans for everything and being very open-minded and aware of as many of the options are in the situation as possible. So that you can be as prepared as possible in a situation that's unstable. So let's put these away. Let's look at that card of advice. So it's, as I say, strength card. It looks like you're just going to need a hell of a lot of strength, physical, mental, emotional, everything to pursue the path you want. And again, I mean, that would explain any level of resistance or reluctance or not making any moves yet. That would explain it. Or the need to not rush in, like even financially as well. If you're pursuing something that's unstable, you know, what would your source of income be? While you're pursuing that, have you got ideas on how you're going to do that? If that's anything that matters as well. Let's look at the Three of Wands. So there's the Hermit again. We have the Four of Pentacles. Right, so I think this means with the advice, as much as there might be a need to be cautious, and you might want to be cautious and logical in choosing your path, etc. Don't let analysis paralysis kind of mess you about. Yep, definitely have that introspection, but not to the point it gets too far, where it's just stagnant. You end up becoming stagnant and stuck. Let's get one for the Two of Pentacles. I mean, for me, sometimes that can be balancing or juggling opportunities where you don't know what to do. And it's literally like, do I do this? Do I do that? But it's like, you cannot stay like that forever, can you? At some point, you have to make a move. And the Three of Wands is, what is the word? I don't know how I would say that. It's a venture, isn't it? It's like putting something out there, whether it is literally just an intention or putting physical action out there and seeing what comes back, isn't it? You have to try, otherwise you get nothing. Let's just get, yeah, so Two of Pentacles. Let me get one for that. Knight of Cups. No. The Moon. Yeah, that's not knowing what to do, but not, again, a warning not to let analysis paralysis kind of take over. And then you've got the Knight of Wands and the Death card. To me, that's balancing whether you stay, do I stay or do I go? Do I do it or do I not do it? It's that energy. But as I say, as the final advice, it is an energy of, I think there's an energy, because the Three of Wands for me can be about intentions. I think the logic and the non-action, it's mainly about setting your intentions clearly, and the Hermit as well, being very clear about your intentions, but don't get stuck in an analysis paralysis. And what can you do now to get things moving? Let's have a quick look at that Four of Pentacles, actually. So I still feel it's not rushing and telling everybody everything and putting it all out there. Three of Cups. I don't know why I feel this, but with that Three of Wands, at the beginning of the reading, when it first came out, I did get something that the word networking came to mind, but I just ignored it because I thought, oh, I don't see how that's relevant at this point in time. However, with that Three of Cups and the star there now, it is making me think of networking. It really is making me think of networking. So however that's relevant to you, bear that in mind, because that could help you get unstuck. I would say though, networking with the right, like, that could be where the warning was about being careful about who supports you and who, what was it? I said who supports you and who wants to see you fall. Because if you're going to network with people, you want to network with the right people, especially in industries or something where people can intentionally set out to sabotage you, you know, just be quite discerning. But networking seems to come to mind here to help you get unstuck. Yeah, that's that thick skin again. Having that thick skin with the Five of Swords and the Strength card, it's having that thick skin. So yeah, be a little bit cautious about if there are people that could actively try to sabotage you. I don't know how that could come about, but as I say, I have experienced that myself. I had to think about it, and it's like, yeah, actually I have blatantly experienced it. Only once, to my knowledge, actually. Actually, probably more than once, but once was very, very blatant and the other one was a bit more subtle. And then, as I say, having the thick skin, I think I mentioned up here somewhere that I talked about Aries energy, being quite determined, but we're all human and we can be put off and have our confidence knocked at times as well. Especially if you put a shitload of time and energy and effort into something and you just, no matter how hard you try, you get nothing back. That can have an impact. Okay, but I'll leave it there. So As I say, networking, taking time to make your intentions clear, having a thick skin and not getting stuck in analysis paralysis. So let's get you a final card of advice from the Sacred Rebels, and that will be it. Right, so final message of advice for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising from the Sacred Rebels deck. What do we need to know? Hopefully just one message. I'm only going to read one, even if more than one comes out. Well, that's the intention. I said it in the last reading and read two of them because they were both ambiguous. So final card of advice for Aries, Sun, Moon and Rising. Yeah, you have Against the Grain. Okay, so that is almost making me think of what I just said about being in and I didn't use the word competitive, but I should have, because of the competitive cards that came out, like the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands. Like where I spoke about if you were going into entertainment and having a thick skin and it can be difficult and you're going to need strength. Yeah, that came to mind. So yeah, going against the grain. Let's read that for you. So it says you want birds to be able to, I love this message actually. Now that every time I read the first sentence, I remember what it's about. These messages are so long, you could never remember them off the top of your head. You want birds to be able to fly underwater. You want love to trump power. You want humanity to relate to each other, sacredness in you and in the world around you. You want to unleash the beauty that hides in even the ugliest of scenes or sentiments. You want to make possible what others say cannot be. You are a radical dreamer, a sacred rebel, and you bring the light of a more positive future to this world. However, this can have its burdens. Deep within you may feel that you don't really fit in with the rest of the world. Perhaps your sense of how things can be and how they really are is so different to the smaller minds or more fearful hearts of many others that you are rarely received for all that you offer. This might make you feel frustrated, thwarted, or lonely at times. The universe so loves you for your unusual take on things, for the quirkiness in you that dares to honour that which is different and renders the impossible possible. You must never ever lose your unusual ways and become dry, serious, appropriate and conventional, not even for appearance's sake, for you would lose your essence. You are here to show that life is about so much more than conventional success. This oracle comes with a special message for you. You are someone who lives and breathes in the depths of creative waters. You need to lose yourself to the flow of music, nature, dreams, imagination, and fantasy through art and literature, meditation, dance, and sensual surrender to the sacred waters of the ocean, the river, the lake, or the bathtub. You must go against the grain. It is just your way. You are not one of the followers, but one of the agitators. However, yours is not a force of disrespectful chaos. You are a loving catalyst, and by simply being yourself, you constantly remind people that there is always another way. This oracle comes with the particular guidance that you are meant to be exactly as you are. You are meant to be the black sheep, the rainbow sheep, or even the wild wolf in the flock of sheep. The daring butterfly spirit calling to the caterpillars, that is you. The price you pay for the gift of individuality is that you must take care of it and guard it so that you are not doled down and conditioned into playing at being something you are not. If this has happened or is threatening to happen, this oracle brings you comfort. You will always dream of birds that fly underwater. You know that the true nature of your being can never be changed. At most, it could only be hidden for a time. Now is the time to accept who you are and allow your truths to be freely expressed. Don't worry about the effects of going against the grain. When we are who we are, in truth, we attract the support, protection, and energy that we need to thrive. Your power comes from aligning your outward self with your inner truth, not the general consensus. You will then find other dreamers, other wild butterflies, and atypically coloured sheep to join you in conjuring better visions for our world. I mean, that definitely explains that need to have strength, that strong need to have strength there. Possibly why there were disappointments in the past. If you are someone that goes against the grain and you've tried to do that in the past, it may not have gone very well in the past. So yeah, I think I will leave your message there. Again, I feel like pointing out about becoming very clear about your intentions before taking action. That just seems to that seems to stick, and also with that surrender to non-action as well. I know in the reading I did just before yours, there was something about forcing, well, it was mainly loyalty, but forcing things, you know, like if you're someone who goes against the grain and you feel like you have to convince other people to believe your ideas, etc. Because I think that did come up with the King of, did that come up with the King of Swords? I'm sure it said something about saying, it said silly things, which is a bit of, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but, okay. For some reason, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I know I spoke of Aquarius being innovative, and Aquarian energy can be eccentric as well, so I'd bear that in mind. But yeah, non-action, you know, like where you try to, you can try to get people to see your point of view and etc. and understand where you're coming from, and sometimes they just can't. You just got to be you and get on with it, haven't you? But I'll leave your message there. Thank you very much for watching the video. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. But again, thanks for watching and take care, Aries.